AskReddit by Lola Nodula. People who are 25Y and above, what's the harshest life lesson you've learned? That life can take a loved one at any time, so cherish those you love, make time for family and friends, and tell people you love them often. This is so true. My grandfather died the morning after the doctor agreed to discharge him from the ICU. I don't have a single picture with him. Never expressed how much I loved him. It seems I had so much to tell him and ask him. And X200B. His death taught me to value people and express my affections more. It's difficult but a necessity. You never know when people you love would not be there anymore. Your health can evaporate quickly. I turned 40 this year. A woman I have known since junior high, full of life, did everything, and I mean every fucking thing right. Great health, worked out, took care of herself, did not feel well one day, went to the doc, got blood work done. The next morning her doc calls her at like 5 AM, get to the hospital now, you are scheduled for an emergency scan as soon as you walk in. That morning she was diagnosed with some form of highly aggressive, very late stage cancer. It had already metastasized to her brain. She had 6 months at most. She died in less than 45 days, and she deteriorated fast. She attempted to chronicle it on her Facebook, but it stopped rather quickly. It is not fair. If your employer is doing something illegal or unethical and you decide to confront them about it, for fuck's sake, do it in a way that all communication will leave a paper trail. To piggyback this, keep emails and any other proof of fucking everything so you can always cover your ass. You have to speak up for yourself. No one else will. And a lot of people will be mad when you do, because it's not benefiting them. Do it anyway. Your friends from high school or college will disappear if you don't make the effort to stay in touch. People in general. I'm 38 and different parts in my life I had friends and family alive that are no longer alive. You feel almost lonely when people that have made up certain memories are no longer there for you to retell it. You also just have life slowly separate people from you. Then you go through changes where some people just took different paths and you don't even recognize who they are anymore. You also cherish those moments that you get that make you feel young and alive again, or having people come back into your life and you didn't realize how much you missed them. You can't make someone love you by giving them more of what they already don't appreciate. Still chewing on this one. Saw somewhere recently that when you see someone's potential, it's really just seeing what you would do if you were them. Sometimes the problem is you. Some people never learn this lesson. There are some truly fucked up people that live and breathe to fuck over other people. This just baffles me. Why do these people choose to be miserable? Doesn't it feel awful to be filled with such hate? Anyone miserable want to share? Do not lie to your significant other. Have hard conversations and trust them enough to be able to have them with you. Give them the chance and don't be afraid. Avoid doing it in fear of rejection or judgment. I learned that one the hard way, unfortunately. Can give this advice to all the R-rater people writing about their so. You can do everything right and still fail. Deleted. There will be people who just don't like you, who might even detest you. And you will never find out why. They might have even been people you considered friends just yesterday. You can be the ripest, sweetest, juiciest peach and there are people who don't like peaches at all. Shit can go south in a literal heartbeat. Yup. Went to work today. For the second time ever at this job. Came home for lunch instead of eating at work or getting fast food. Get home. Find my mom, a stroke victim, covered in blood. She fell and hit her head. Just like that, the rest of my day was spent at the emergency room. Thank God she's alright. 7 staples later. but you literally have zero idea what you're walking into from one moment to the next. Fucking life, man. Sometimes if you risk it to get the biscuit, you don't get the biscuit and actually you destroy your life. Give an example or the context. This is for the people pleasers like myself. You can bend over backwards for everyone, be a doormat, make it your life goal to avoid confrontation, and you're still going to end up being the supervillain in someone's story by the time you hit 30. You're writing your own story. Set your boundaries and realize no girl, guy, vice, or amount of money is worth compromising them. 1000%. Learning to be okay with being alone is a big one. Checking all the boxes required to be successful does not mean you will actually be successful. Well said. Nearly everyone I personally know who is successful works their ass off. But there are also countless people who work their ass off and aren't close to successful. You're going to have regrets. Things you didn't do as well as you could have. Things you didn't earn. Things you did that you didn't mean to do. Things you didn't do that you wanted to do. Don't waste the present dwelling on the past. Use the regrets as lessons to change your decisions. By the time you hit 30, all the small things you've gotten away with that everyone bugged you about starts catching up to you. Bad posture, welcome back a neck pain. Smoking, welcome a strong cough. Never stretch, welcome tightness. Bad diet, welcome various health issues. You always feel invincible when you're young 30s where you realize you were wrong. I'm 33 and fuck you for reminding me of all the things I should have done. I should have tried harder in college and worked with a goal in mind. Working with a goal in mind is a good one. I almost fell into working in design and I just did jobs I enjoyed without much thought about where it was going or how much money I was making. By the time I started at my third agency in my late 30s, I was done with it and I've actually found it hard to move into the type of work I'd like to be in at the type of company I'd like to be at. Many people in leadership positions are anything but leaders. I would go out on a limb and say most managers are just the people who stuck it out through the shitty underpaid subordinate positions so they could get to manager and not actually manage. You can have a loving family, great friends, and financial security but still feel isolated and empty. Don't drive when you are sleepy. I feel asleep driving after working night shift. I was in a coma for 2 weeks and partially paralyzed. After 4 months in the hospital, I was medically retired from the US Army. Before the accident, I was in great shape and I was running about 10 miles per day training for a race. I have not been able to run since the accident. Lesson: don't drive when you are sleepy, you could die or hurt someone else. Thank you for sharing. Hope you are doing okay, that is a very valuable lesson. Recognize where you're putting your effort. Not every situation is a if I just keep pressing forward then someday all my hard work will be rewarded situation. Sometimes when it's over you realize you didn't get anything. Yes. It's better to realize earlier and get out of murky situations than to keep pressing on. That's just recklessness. Hoping and wishing doesn't make things change. Making different decisions and working hard does. Literally most of my relationship problems in a sentence. Took me forever just to ask myself, let's try and be nice today and not expect anything in return. It's hard to keep that attitude up consistently, but it's not hard to do a few times a week and can make a difference. The big part is just monitoring how I'm feeling and not projecting that. Take care of your fucking teeth. Nobody told me that fillings eventually have to be replaced and you'll be paying for that cavity again in 10 years, and then again after another 10 years, and so on. Edit. This is not the harshest life lesson I've ever learned, but it is potentially the most expensive. An infection in your mouth can reach your brain. Another reason to take care. 1 important tool is an electric toothbrush. Follow with a gulp of hydrogen peroxide that I guggle and swish. First thing in the mornings, I use a tongue scraper. It looks like other people are blessed with motivation and self-discipline and make stuff happen. If you sit and around long enough, the angel of self-discipline will float to you and bless you with the desire to do healthy, productive stuff that will benefit you in the short, mid, long term. False. You have to get off your couch and do what you don't feel like doing right now. That's the lesson I had to learn. That last sentence was it for me. I was brought up pretty sheltered and spoiled, and I commonly used "I just don't feel like it" as an excuse and got away with it. Once I was an adult, I had to realize that if you don't do things whether you feel like it or not, barring actual sickness or disability, you'll be miserable. You certainly can't keep a job only going when you feel like it. Your house and your health will be in shambles if you only take care of them when you feel like it. You just have to do things that need to be done.